All right, so I've cut all my pieces. Nothing is glued together. This is just sitting here, kind of waiting to be glued together. I'm probably going to tape it on the edges and then glue it together just to make sure to help me register everything. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so now I've cut a base piece that I'm going to put the two frames on top. You'll notice I also, um, using a ruler, and I also used the grid of my cutting board to help me make sure that it was square. I scribed the rectangle in the center of the base piece. So this is the bottom piece that will go on it. And I want to make sure, it's really important when I glue this down that it's not skewed. All right, so I've got my glue gun here, and I just move the stand out of the way and hot glue onto the paper. I'm going to put my stand back, set it down, precarious, and then overlap the edge of the paper. Okay, so the hot glue has a tendency to kind of melt the foam, which is on the inside of the paper, but if you can apply it to the paper, that will give you enough time to move it into place. So do as neat of a job as you can, and so I like let that cool for a little bit, and then put it together. Okay, so then I have my base, and I'm going to tack this in place. Now, at this point, I'm going to actually take the tape off the outside of this because I don't really need that. I'll leave it on there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just gonna tack it down in a couple of places. Okay. And you'll see again, it's like the foam on the inside is melted, gets melted by the heat of the hot glue. So I just want to make sure that the frame is square to the line that I've drawn, right? So that it's not skewed. Okay, so that'll just kind of hold it in place. I'll let that cool for a minute. And then in mold making, we use the hot glue gun kind of as a welder, and I'm going to come back over this and I'm going to put hot glue on the outside edge. Okay, so it's like paper to paper. And what that's going to do is it's going to sort of weld it together, make sure it doesn't leak. And I'm not hot gluing the foam, okay? So finish all the way around. And in this case, I kind of did this right over my tape, but let's see, there's one side I took the tape off, so I really want to make sure that seam has been kind of sealed. You just don't want the rubber to leak out of your box. So where I wrap the tape around, I think it's sealed pretty well. The tape seems to be on there. I just kind of decided not to take it off. So here, this is cooling, but the bottom frame is glued to the base. There are some cases where you might want the bottom frame, because everybody's mold is different. There are some instances where if you have a complex parting line, you might want the bottom frame to remain separate from the base until the very end. Okay, in this piece, I think it's fine to sort of attach the bottom frame. I'm definitely not going to attach the top frame. Okay, the top frame will go on there after I'm done doing all of the sculpting. Okay.